This is London Tonight with Natasha Kaplinsky.
Hello, good evening. There are calls for water cannons, CS gas and plastic bullets to be available for tackling future disorder on the streets of London. A Metropolitan Police Service report into how the force coped during the riots concluded that weapons could have been a valuable asset last summer. The report, called 4 Days in August, looks at how the police responded to the troubles that flared from August the 6th, the day after the fatal shooting of Mark Duggan. The report describes the August riots as unprecedented. Disorder which stretched the service beyond its capability. Outdated systems did not detect the crucial turning point in the dynamics of a peaceful crowd outside Tottenham Police Station on Saturday the 6th of August. Despite the deployment of thousands of officers working around the clock, the force admits 4 days passed before the violence was brought under control. The result? An insufficient response to some of the worst violence London has seen. Now the Met want to be more assertive in controlling fast-moving public disorder. Plastic bullets weren't available in August. The Met wants to change this and has already increased the number of officers trained to use them. Water cannons deployed in Northern Ireland have not been used in the UK mainland before. But now the Met want to buy 3 to be based in England and Wales. They want the Home Office to fund them and say they'll be a national asset. They're also considering the use of CS gas, seen here used in Athens last year to control future public disorder. The Met admits the review of the riots will be little comfort for the victims of last summer's arson, violence and looting. But Assistant Commissioner Mark Rowley says he wants to do everything possible to ensure Londoners are never in that position again.
I don't know why people, oh my God!
Well, a short time ago I spoke to Assistant Commissioner Mark Rowley from the Metropolitan Police, and I began by asking him for his initial response to the report.
This report is about us reflecting on last summer's extraordinary and unprecedented events. The scale and the spread of the disorder, the fact it resulted in deaths. We face things we hadn't seen before in London or indeed elsewhere in the country, and this is the Met's response to what have we learned from that and how do we put ourselves in a better position for the future.
But nevertheless, the report doesn't read well at all for the Met, does it? How are you going to respond, and crucially, how can you regain the public's trust?
You're talking about the report as if it's somebody's report about us. It's our own honest take on how we did. I think facing something unprecedented, it's bound not to be perfect. I think the report covers the extraordinary bravery of individual officers, but what it shows is that our ability to be plugged into communities and have intelligence that helps us spot disorder as it develops can improve, and we're doing much about that.
The findings are still pretty damning, aren't they? It took 4 days for you to bring the disorder under control. There weren't enough trained officers, woefully out of touch with social media as a tool to monitor disorder. Whether or not you wrote it or anybody else wrote it, it nevertheless is damning. You can't put that much a positive spin on it.
This is an honest take on last summer. It isn't a damning report. Any organisation that faces something that hasn't been seen before will have things to learn from it, and we have the strength and the sort of honesty to stand up and say, okay, here's some things we want to do better in the future. All
right, you've written a wish list, or whoever has written the report has written a wish list in your attempt to be more assertive in the future.
It's not a wish list. It's not a wish list.
Okay,
it's stuff a lot of it's stuff we've already done.
All right, but nevertheless, you have asked for the use of plastic bullets, you've asked for water cannon and possibly the use for CS gas. That is all rather inflammatory stuff.
It's not a wish list. A lot of the things that we've already done. Again, reflect on last summer. Last summer demonstrated that disorder of that nature can result in people's deaths. That's tragic. If we have available equipment which is not lethal and helps us confront those issues and prevent people dying, then why wouldn't we train to use it? Some of that equipment is already available, and batons have been available in the UK for a long time, and we've trained officers to use that, and we will continue to do so. We've never had to deploy them to date, but we wouldn't rule it out in the future. Others, like water cannons, are not available. They haven't been licensed by the Home Office. We're simply saying there may be a small number of circumstances where they're valuable if the Home Office chooses to license them.
Assistant Commissioner Mark Rowley speaking to me a little earlier on.